There is a great deal of pain still residually as a result of the criminal attacks on 9/11, but it was not an Islamic attack, it was a criminal attack. There are two things I'd like to mention. The first is that Muslims, like other people in America, have First Amendment rights in terms of freedom of religion. But the second more important thing is that we reject the notion of collective guilt. We are not collectively guilty for actions that are taken by some people in the name of Islam. Further, I think it's very clear that the Cordoba Institute and a number of Muslims in the United States are really seeking to take a different way of establishing new relationships with America and a new set of relationships with the people of the United States. And this is an ideal way to do that.
600 feet from the biggest terror attack in U.S. history on U.S. soil is the best way to do it. I mean, I think that a lot of the concern is the proximity to ground zero, not necessarily the building of a center.
Well, there are numerous memorials to people who were killed in that attack. And so let's not try to conflate that idea or that notion into the idea of Muslims having the right to have a mosque. I mean, we're not trying to say that people should be compelled to believe in Islam. What we believe is that Muslims have a legitimate role to play in the social fabric of this country. We are part of the interfaith mosaic of the United States. But more than that, I think this particular group of people in the Cordoba Institute can do a huge amount of good, not only for Muslims in New York, but also for interfaith relations throughout the country.
Some people would say that's a loaded phrase.
What, stop Islamization of America? We believe that Islam should be westernized, that America should not be Islamicized. We don't believe in mosquing the workplace. We don't believe in introducing Muslim prayer into public schools.
When you hear this, what goes through your head?
Well, not just the term Islamophobia, but also, frankly, a kind of collective intolerance that is really not conducive to the spirit of what we're trying to do as Muslims in America. I also have to say that, respectfully, Muslims were also victimized by that attack. Muslims died in that attack. They died at the Pentagon. There are Muslims right now in Congress. There are Muslims in the national security system. There are Muslims in the military who would vehemently disagree with the idea that we don't have a right to be a represented part of the American multi-faith mosaic. And we are here. And we've been here since before the U.S. was established even as a republic. We're part of the United States.
I don't see the symbolism specifically because the mosque is not being built on ground zero, and there's going to be a memorial for the victims of the 9/11 tragedy, the 9/11 attack, that'll open next year. Let me also say that the Cordoba Initiative is really designing a plan to attempt to build a sense of better communication with the Christian and the Muslim world, and not only that, but to be able to fulfill some of the needs and requirements of Muslims who want to worship in this area. Now, let me also quote briefly a real authority on the security of the people of New York, who happens to be the mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, who said that if a community wants to build a house of worship, we, the people of New York, should not be in the business of saying who can and who cannot do that.
Right.
And that's a direct quote from the mayor of New York, by the way,
and this
who
place
happens
of
to be
worship.
Jewish.
We have been active participants in our communities. As to why we need a mosque in South Beach, the answer is simple. When the community changes, the needs change. America is constantly in a state of flux. Staten Island, with its various neighborhoods, is no different. We are certain that the hostility exhibited towards the American Muslim community does not reflect the sentiment of the majority of those who live in Staten Island, and look forward to a positive resolution to this unfortunate situation.
You know what, there are a lot of allegations that have come out, and they're all unfounded allegations. There has been no solid established link between MAS and any other organization. If there is, I wasn't told about it. You know, I certainly did not join this organization for anything other than it is a true American establishment. We're not on any kind of federal list, and there is, you know, we have not been convicted of anything.